103.9 Proud FM. This is Your Morning with Richard and Chris, and joining us in the studio for Motivational Monday is one of the most glamorous women in town, hot off of Fashion Cares 25. It is Jules Lieff from Fit Organics. Jules, how the heck are you doing?
I'm really good. How are you guys?
We are fabulous, and you are the most glamorous person.
I don't know about
You
that,
are.
but well, okay, fine.
Just suck it up
She'll
and
accept
enjoy
it.
it.
All right, fine. I think it's yesterday's makeup that's making you think I'm glamorous.
Ew.
That I can. Come on, everybody knows what I mean. You put on more makeup than you'd wear all year, and it's like you're scrubbing for an hour, and then you're like, oh, forget it.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Exactly.
And you still wake up with makeup all over your pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
So talking about that, Fashion Care is a very exciting event, but also a little bit stressful, I imagine.
Totally.
Oh, yes.
And stress is something that a lot of people we deal with in different ways. You know, some people relax, some people work out, some people get a massage.
My brother
eat
and
my
I
stress.
fall asleep.
Oh.
Stress, we fall asleep in the middle of a crisis.
Like almost like a narcoleptic.
Almost. Yeah, I start yawning. When I'm yawning, it's not good.
Really? That's
out of
very
the room.
interesting.
Yeah,
I
no,
wish I
and I
had
thought it
that
was just
reaction to
me.
sleep.
Me
That were
too.
to
I thought it was
stress.
just me, but I talked to my brother. It came up, and I found out he does it too. So
Interesting. You just shut down. Just
yeah.
total
I
shutdown.
don't need to be here.
Wow.
So besides Richard's narcolepsy and my emotional eating, how do you deal with stress healthily?
Okay, so what happens when we're stressed out is that, of course, the main hormone that gets elevated is one called cortisol. And we have small amounts of cortisol in our body all the time, or at least the cortisol is always there waiting to either elevate or reduce. And that's part of something that I'm sure everybody's familiar with called the fight or flight syndrome.
Yes.
So it's almost like an ancient sort of mechanism that our bodies would use to run away from, bears, or to run away from, maybe not bears, depends on your thing, but to run away from to run away from giant saber-toothed tigers.
There you
How's
go.
that?
Yeah.
And so what happens when our cortisol levels are elevated is that our propensity to store body fat goes up. Our blood sugar levels elevate. Our heart rate increases. And all of these different processes take their toll on our system. The issue is that sometimes with some people, and especially in this day and age, our bodies don't really know when to quit. So that initial response that would be normally a good thing because it would get us out of harm's way actually can leave us in our own harm's way, if you know what I mean, because our system is just sort of maxed out all the time.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that you can do with your diet and exercise to make sure that you can get back to a relative calm within your body and sort of get those regulatory functions back to normal so that your body can function optimally, your immune system can function well again, you can be restful, and you can think clearly,
There's one of the key things like eating and sleeping because I've got that down.
Well, it depends on who you are. Some people find when they're under stress, they want to eat the world, and other people like myself can't eat and can't sleep. And I don't know which is worse. One, if you're gaining weight, that's going to affect your immune system. And if you're losing weight, that also affects your immune system. So very much depends on who you are. But one thing that we'll talk about after the break is how we can all, no matter if we go sleeping and eating or whether we go insomniac and, anorexic during those times, what we can do to get our bodies back on track.
Ooh, fabulous.
103.9 Proud FM. This is Your Morning with Richard and Chris, and joining us to continue on with Motivational Monday, it is Jules Lieff from Fit Organics. Jules, thank you so much for sticking with us here.
Morning.
Good morning.
Or should I say
Gay morning. What
morning?
There you
What do you think you
go.
are?
She knows it. She knows it's
fired.
gay here.
So fight or flight, eat or sleep.
Yes.
We're
It's
talking
too
stress.
much. It's too much with the
Yeah.
stress.
Well, it's the film festival. It's like almost Fashion Week coming up.
Is there good stress?
There is good stress, but good stress can sometimes affect your body negatively too. And that's what people have to remember. When there's a lot of things going on and, old injuries start acting up or, they get sick or whatever, and they say, oh, but I have all these good things going on in my life. I don't get it. Stress is still stress, whether it's good or bad. Obviously, good stress is better than bad, but, a lot of good things have come out of bad stress too. So not to be too good ship lollipop about it, but the reality is when you're under stress, whether good or bad, there's some things you want to consider.
Okay.
And one thing is that I get asked a lot is, if I'm totally maxed out, if I'm totally stressing out, and, I'm at my wit's end, should I work out?
Yeah.
And
I ask that of my trainer every time because her showing up stresses me out.
You claim to be stressed out.
I know she's coming,
every
and
day.
then also knock, knock, knock. Ah!
Exactly. So you definitely want to keep up some sort of exercise regimen if you are going through a very busy time or very stressful time. And you might not want to go as hard as you think.
Right.
Studies have shown that cardiovascular activity, there's a big push away from cardio and onto weights, but cardio actually helps to alleviate stress better than weight training they're showing. It used to be thought, or some people still think that cardio taxes your adrenal glands, and it can, but if you're going for gentle walks or if you're just, listening to music and sort of relaxing while you're walking on a treadmill or doing a low cadence on a bike, then that's going to help with your stress rather than hinder it. Again, you just don't want to go too hard with your workouts.
Can I get a note from you? Because sometimes I'm like, I'm very stressed. I don't think this is helping me. And she's like, lift it, fatty. And it's a whole other workout.
Well, maybe it's the lift it fatty part that, is
I think she's talking about my butt.
I'd be like, you talking to me? Maybe she's talking to the guy next to you or herself. So, yeah. Exercising is good when you're stressed out, maybe like 3-4 times a week, half an hour to 45 minutes. Right. That's going to make sure that you're maintaining what you have, but not overdoing it. Now, if you're a stress eater, that's going to...
That's me.
She looked at me.
No, I was looking around the room. I was looking at the ceiling, actually. God, if you're a stress eater.
I'm happy. That's
You're a stress sleeper. I'm a stress eater. This one's about me.
Okay, go.
How do you help me, Jules?
Yeah.
Because he's so fat.
Well, here's the thing. Nobody wants to necessarily change their size to be for the detriment, right?
No.
So if you're a stress eater and you're going to gain weight when you're stressed, that's going to stress you out more.
Right.
So getting in little workouts can help you to maintain your size 00, whatever the F. But anyway.
-7.
-7. You tell him. You tell that skinny SOB.
And if you have a tendency like me not to eat when you're stressed out, then doing little workouts can actually stimulate your appetite slightly, enough so that you feel like you're in a little bit of a better mood and you feel like eating, right?
There you go.
So things to avoid at all costs when you're stressed out, and it's the ones we gravitate towards. The big three: sugar, caffeine, and alcohol.
Oh,
I know.
Well,
but all of those relieve my pain.
He has them all at once.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I know.
When he's
and
got
we all
cocktail
tend
shaker, coffee, and a bag of sugar going, I'm like, oh, get out of that room.
Exactly, with a shot of alcohol on the side, right? Yeah, sugar, caffeine, and alcohol, they're just going to increasingly increase, or they're just going to increase further those stress hormones that we talked about, especially cortisol. They're just going to increase your body fat storage. They're just going to, dip into your sleep even more so. They're going to, affect your appetite negatively, whether it makes you crave more or whether alcohol cuts your appetite. If you're going at one or the other end of the spectrum, you want to not.
Worse,
Exactly. Things that you do want to eat, though, are healthy fats, healthy carbs, and lots of protein.
What's a healthy fat? Like an
avocado?
avocado?
Salmon, olive oil, coconut oil, all that
things
stuff.
you reach for when you're stressed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I've got to push the pie and cake out of the way to get to them, but they're right there. I can see them.
Well, I'm just delivering the information. What you choose to do with it is your deal.
Give me some guacamole. Stop!
Well, Jules, thank you so much for joining us today and helping us to deal with our stress. Richard passed me the sugar cookies. If you want more information, the website is fitorganics.com. That's organics with an X. You're also on Twitter, and you're always tweeting delicious recipes and the best tips. It is at fitorganics, also with an X. Jules, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
It's our pleasure.
Don't get stressed out.
Seriously, take those cookies when you go.